on, guys. Where's Chief Dobbins and All right, guys. Sorry it's been a while. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what happened tonight, and then I'll open it up to questions. So this evening at about 6:42 p.m., officers of the Houston Police Department Northeast Division Patrol were dispatched to the 11,000 block of Spotswood Drive in Northeast Area Command. The call came out at 18:42, and at 6:46 p.m., within 4 minutes, patrol elements from Northeast arrived on scene. The dispatch was to assault in progress involving a firearm. When the officers arrived at the location, the 11,000 block of Spotwood, they went to the location, contacted some folks at the residence, said that they had been dispatched and called for an assault in progress involving a firearm. They were told that there was nothing going on. They asked permission to look around the yard to make sure that no one was actually injured. When they went to the backyard of the residence, they actually found a male suspect, adult suspect, who was actually armed with a semi-automatic pistol. The suspect retreated into what I would describe as a potential wood shed in the back of the residence with the pistol. The officers and supervisors that arrived within a couple of minutes started engaging the suspect in what I would call very calm, and I've been watching the video, that's why it's all on video, very calmly tried to engage the suspect, trying to get him to take the gun and put it down. The suspect was putting the gun beneath his head, beneath his chin, to his head. Immediately started threatening to shoot himself, and repeatedly throughout the encounter kept telling the officers to just take him out, that he basically was ready to die, and saying that he was either going to force him to shoot him. After quite a few minutes of engaging, when we knew we had an armed suspect, our supervisors, our officers did what I thought was a really good job of actually staging an ambulance here at the scene. They actually called for HFD. They called for our mobile psychologist and our psych services folks that work with us, part of our DART team, that was actually en route. Unfortunately, they didn't get here in time to engage the suspect. After quite a few minutes of ongoing negotiations, where these patrol officers and these supervisors very calmly were trying to engage the individual to put down the gun and to surrender, he kept insisting he wanted to see his girlfriend, who he had gotten into an altercation with earlier this evening, and who he assaulted and very aggressively attacked about a month ago. He actually has an active warrant for that domestic violence. This is a domestic violence suspect who has an active warrant for that domestic violence. She was here on the scene, and they actually got in some kind of altercation. The officers actually engaged in a tactical repositioning, which means when he comes insistent they back up, they actually backed up. They actually moved into a different position. They gave him space. They actually also deployed tasers for less lethal cover, and obviously a deadly cover with firearms. Unfortunately, at one point, the suspect finally brought the gun and aimed it towards the officers, and that's when the officers fired, striking the suspect several times. Several officers fired. After securing the firearm, they immediately engaged in treating the suspect. They aggressively treated him with tourniquets, applying several tourniquets. At one point, they started administering CPR. HFD was already staged. They came, assumed primary patient care. We moved him in an ambulance to another location where a life flight helicopter picked him up, and actually he was transported to Herman Memorial, where he is in surgery. We don't have an update, but we know that the officers were able to keep him alive. They were able to control the bleeding, and they were able to get him, with the help of HFD that was staged, into an ambulance, into a helicopter, and he's in surgery as of the last time that I checked, which was about 10 minutes ago. We have multiple officers that discharged the firearms. and we will provide more information on these officers tomorrow in terms of how many years they have on, so on and so forth. The suspect was born in December of 1985, so that makes him 35 years of age. He is African American, and he has a criminal history of evaded arrest, and including aggravated robbery, unlawful carrying of a firearm, and he actually had 2 warrants that were open for him. One warrant was a parole violation. The date of the warrant that was issued was November 21st, 2019, and that was a violation of parole. He was on parole again for, I believe, aggravated robbery, an aggravated robbery conviction. He also had an active warrant that was issued on October 31st, 2019, and that was for a family assault, a family member with previous violations. So again, we have our special investigations team here. We have Chief Dobbins here from homicide, obviously Commander Hatcher from Northeast, Chief Lopez. All of our officers are okay. I talked to the girlfriend who he assaulted last month. He's obviously very shaken up. She says that when he drinks, he gets very violent, and he violently attacked her last month, which is why we had that active warrant for him. And this is another incident, again, in our city, in our country, where domestic violence suspects, we know they're very volatile, men that beat on women. Really, one thing we know, that we're raised as men not to hit women. You got a real problem when you go around beating on women, and clearly as a felon he should not have had a firearm in the first place. The other thing that in talking to his friend who rents the house, he indicated to me that just last week this suspect was telling this friend that if he engages law enforcement, that he was going to shoot a cop. And so he did not get any shots off as far as we can tell, but this is an individual that I can just say, after reviewing this video, our officers, sometimes when officers see people armed, there's a lot of screaming and yelling going on, and I've never seen officers as calm as these officers were in terms of the way that they engaged this suspect. These are young officers, and I can tell you that their training, the leadership that's been given to them by Commander Hatcher and her team was really in play here. When these videos come out eventually, you're going to see police officers that really tried to calm this man down, tried to get him to put the firearm down, and sadly, again, for whatever reason, he decided to bring the gun down and aim it at the officers, towards the officers, and they discharged their firearms. So with that, we have special investigations here under Chief Dobbins' command. We have internal affairs that will be here looking at this incident. We have the District Attorney's Office, a prosecutor from the Civil Rights Division of the Harris County District Attorney's Office is here. They will conduct a parallel criminal investigation with ours, an independent investigation, and we have the Houston Forensic Science Center assets that are here that will be processing the scene. This area will probably be closed for a couple of hours while we process the scene. We've taken 3 people from the location here that were at the house, have been transported to Travis to police headquarters, where they will be interviewed, and then we'll bring them back to their homes so they can move on with their night. So I want to thank the neighbors and the neighborhood just very much for everyone's patience and cooperation. I know that it's never fun when the police take over a street and we just disrupt the neighborhood, but I'm just grateful that no innocent life was lost. His friends are pretty shaken up. They feel that they themselves could have been hurt by this gentleman. One of his, like I said, his buddy told me that he heard him yelling at the woman, his girlfriend, in the front of the house, and he tried to intervene, and then the guy our suspect started getting on him. And so he's relieved that he himself didn't end up getting shot. So with that, these officers, consistent with our protocols, will be placed on administrative duties pending their blood test that they will be submitting to tonight, their urinalysis that we'll be submitting to tonight. Once we get the results and they see our psych ops, they will be on desk duty pending a little further investigation. And once this is all over, I can just say that when the videos eventually come out after the process is over, that the community will see our members really trying desperately to get this man to put his gun down so they can take him into custody. He kept demanding to see his girlfriend, the one that he assaulted, the one that he has felony warrants on. And quite frankly, you cannot have a woman come up who was on the scene with a guy that's got a semi-automatic pistol in his hand, because we don't know if he wants to see her or he wants to shoot at her in his attempts not just take out the cops, maybe take her out in his last moments. So with that, I'll open up to any questions, but understand that we're early on in the investigation. Sí, esta tarde como a las 6:42 p.m. Tuvimos una llamada aquí en la 11,000 bloque de Spotswood, en el norte-este, a como las 6:42 p.m. Los oficiales de la división norte-este, aquí del Departamento de Policía de Houston, inmediatamente las patrullas vinieron y en 4 minutos llegaron aquí en esta escena. Cuando llegaron a la casa donde estábamos, tenemos una llamada de una persona que estaba amenazando a personas en la casa con un arma de fuego. Pusieron en contacto con personas en la casa y le dijeron que no había ningún problema. Los oficiales pidieron permiso a buscar en el patio de la casa, atrás de la casa, para asegurar que no hay nadie herido. Y cuando fueron al patio encontraron un afroamericano de 35 años de edad que estaba armado con una arma de fuego semiautomática. Los oficiales inmediatamente empezaron a darle órdenes al sospechoso muy tranquilamente que por favor bajara el arma de fuego, que tumbara el arma de fuego, que atirara en la tierra. Y el sospechoso no, en vez de obedecer a los oficiales las órdenes, puso la pistola a su cabeza, abajo de su cabeza, aquí, y empezó a demandar que quería hablar con su novia. Este sospechoso, un afroamericano de 35 años de edad, tiene orden de arresto por haber cometido una violencia doméstica contra su novia, que sí estaba en esta escena el mes pasado, una felonía que cometió contra ella. También tenía otra orden de arresto por un asalto que estaba en parole, por un asalto agravado, armado que había cometido y una convicción, y lo estaban buscando por eso también. Los oficiales, teníamos como 6 a 8 oficiales allá atrás con supervisores, sabían que tenía una persona armada, tuvieron la capacidad mental para llamar a la ambulancia, para tener la ambulancia aquí preparada por si algo ocurrió. Desgraciadamente, después de muchos minutos de tratar calmamente, ordenar al sospechoso que bajara la arma de fuego, a un punto bajó la pistola y los oficiales dispararon en la defensa propia. Estamos muy aliviados que inmediatamente los oficiales empezaron a darle auxilio de emergencia al sospechoso. Los bomberos que ya estaban aquí pudieron venir al patio y empezaron también a hacerle auxilio. Lo llevaron a la ambulancia a otra locación aquí cerca y un helicóptero lo transportó al hospital de Herman Memorial. Yo chequeé hace como 15 minutos y todavía están en su seguridad, no ha muerto, y yo pienso que si sí vive, va a ser por los esfuerzos de nuestros oficiales que hicieron un gran esfuerzo para tratar de salvar la vida. Y cuando la comunidad vean estos videos, que ya yo he visto uno de los videos de lo que ocurrió, van a tener un orgullo que estos oficiales jóvenes tuvieron una capacidad mental para estar tranquilos, para mantenerse tranquilos, para no estar gritando, hicieron un gran esfuerzo para tratar de salvarle la vida a este oficial. Así que este es otro caso, una persona que está cometiendo la violencia doméstica, está armado. Estas personas no deben tener armas de fuego y son muy bien peligrosas.
Tengo varias preguntas. La llamada la hizo la novia, ¿estaba aquí?
No sabemos todavía quién es. La novia sí estaba aquí, pero todavía la investigación no tengo cuál detalle, quién fue el que llamó a la policía.
Y mencionó 3 personas más que se las llevaron para ser entrevistadas.
Sí. Estas personas estaban en la residencia, son testigos y lo tenemos como lo estamos entrevistando. El que está rentando la casa, que es amigo del sospechoso, me dijo que la semana pasada el sospechoso le había dicho que si tiene una confrontación con la policía, él iba a disparar y tratar de matar a un policía. Y eso me lo dijo el colega de este señor. La otra cosa que me dijo esta persona es que él escuchó, cuando él estaba en el patio de amigo del sospechoso, escuchó que estaba discutiendo con una mujer y pensando que es su novia, y cuando él pensó de tratar de calmarlo, el sospechoso, atacarlo a él verbalmente y que está aliviado que él mismo no fue herido por este sospechoso.
¿Cuántos oficiales van a ser puestos en la administración?
Pensamos 5, todavía estamos en la investigación. Okay? All right. Anything else in English now, huh? We had about 8 officers on scene. I believe that this is preliminary, but I think we have 5 officers discharged their firearms. But it's important for the community to realize, again, when you review this later on, at some point when these videos and this story is told, you're going to see a police department with these young police officers that remain extremely calm, that tactically repositioned themselves, that did everything they could possibly do, short of just leaving, which we cannot do, especially when we're dealing with an individual that's armed in this neighborhood that's a quiet neighborhood with good people. Just leave, but you just can't leave. They tried their very best, and I think when the community sees that, they're going to find that not only did they try their very best to avoid having to shoot the suspect, what they're going to see is officers at the second that they were able to stabilize, get the firearm, make sure that there was no longer a threat posed, immediately sprung into trying to save his life. And so the forward thinking of actually staging the ambulance here with a HFD, of actually calling DART with our mental health professionals that unfortunately didn't get here in time. But based on what I've seen on the video, I don't think, quite frankly, anybody would have done a better job than these officers did in engaging the suspect. They stayed very calm. They really did a good job of trying to negotiate with him to put the firearm down, and unfortunately decided to do what he did. Any other questions?
So is it the 5 officers on desk duty, or is it all 8 of them were here?
No, just the ones. We only put the officers that discharge their firearms. That is our protocol. So they placed on desk duty pending seeing the psychologist and pending a little bit further of the investigation, including the fact that we added, this administration added urinalysis, where we do our drug screening of our officers after an officer involved shooting. That's something that we started when Mayor Turner brought me here and put this team together. Anything else?
¿Usted vio los videos de las cámaras?
Yo vi un video, no voy a ver tantos videos, pero vi uno.
Pero lo que vio le puede indicar si esta persona al fin y al cabo terminó esto como un suicidio por policía.
Bueno, muchas personas no les gustan que usen esa expresión, pero al fin del día, si tú estás armado con una arma de fuego semiautomática y la apuntas a un oficial, no van a esperar que dispares a uno de ellos para no van a esperar que le dispare a tu amigo o a ti mismo. Así que eso es lo que ocurrió. Okay?
Where was he struck?
I don't know that.
Last question for me. How long was that engaging process?
It was I don't have a time frame, but it was it was 10 minutes. I don't have a specific number, but they engaged them for quite a while. They stayed very calm. They repositioned. They, when you think about these young people that Commander Hatcher is leading, I think there'd be a lot of pride that when you have an armed individual within feet of you in a quiet neighborhood with folks, that these officers stayed very calm and actually, there's no such thing as perfection. Because I'm sure every time we have a critical incident, we try to look for how we can do things better. But they did a darn good job from what I've seen so far. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Thank you all.